Politics is a game of who gets what, when, and how. An elaborate definition by renowned political scientist Harold Laswell, which could not be more reflective of the way politics is played in Nigeria. Nigeria's political space is very dynamic, with utterances and actions by political actors daily defining the political space and where the pendulum swings from time to time, falling in favor of one interest group or the other, and leaving Nigerians to guess who is getting what at any particular point in time. But many were left undecided as to who was left to gain from the abduction of a yet-to-be-confirmed number of boys from the government's science secondary school Kankara in Katsina State a little over 2 weeks ago. 340 boys have since been returned to their parents. And if the federal government is to be believed, money did not exchange hands.
No money that changed hand. Negotiation does not necessarily mean there will be money.
So many Nigerians were left with many questions. Were there political undertones to this abduction? Coming at a time when President Muhammadu Buhari was in Katsina State on a private visit. What impression was it meant to create? What were the antecedents that led to this? This is Politics on Sunday. I am Femi Akonde. The whole nation was set by the ears by abduction of a huge number of students from Government Science Secondary School, Kankara. It again brought to light the glitches in the security architecture of the country. Lawmakers again called for the resignation of service chiefs.
The people are not satisfied with the performance of, the service chiefs, and people think that a change will bring a better performance. And we also think so, and that's why as a Senate, we've expressed that opinion.
A meeting of northern groups in Kaduna was disrupted for fear it was going to raise questions concerning the capacity of the president to mitigate rising insecurity in the north. A group went as far as challenging the president to do something urgent or admit his administration has failed. Thankfully, the students were returned following negotiations between the military as well as the Katsina and Zamfara state governments with their abductors. In all the furore, I sat down with the man in the eye of the storm. The Katsina State Governor Aminu Masari is a man of many parts. He was once Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he put all in perspective: the origins of banditry and how serious is the keg of gunpowder the nation is presently sitting on. Those who have lost out on the game of who gets what have now chosen how and when they should get what is coming to them. Katsina State has contributed so much to the political development in Nigeria, and that is in terms of producing notable leaders. And has this in any way impacted development in the states?
The Katsina State development can be seen as that there is nothing much different from other states in the region, especially in the Northwest. Like you said, yes, we produce leaders, but leaders we produce are national leaders. Leaders that govern with the fear of God and looking at the country, at their own constituency, and not necessarily taking advantage of their position to do things that are out of the ordinary in the state. So the state is a picture of what is happening in the Northwest and other northern states. And you can see the problem of, serious problem of underdevelopment, especially in the area of education and other infrastructural needs that will propel not only the state but the region.
Another issue now is the security challenges in the state, and these are built over the years now. And people are asking, what went wrong? How did it get to this point?
Well, I think, again, we have to go back that the insecurity situation in Katsina is a reflection of the insecurity situation in Northwest and the other northern states. And we look at why, because we failed to invest heavily in education, agriculture, that include livestock, that support the lives of well over 80%. Even the remaining 20% are indirectly beneficiaries of agriculture and livestock. And you cannot do this without sound education that gives you opportunity for technology in terms of improvement in production, quality, quantity, and name it. So I think when we lost it as a region with regards to education, because really if you lose education, you lose everything. And really that's what happened to us as a state, as a region. We're talking about insecurity now. What gave rise to insecurity? Fundamentally is idleness, because there was no education. And without education, accessing facilities become difficult. Even training, to train a skilled worker, he needs basic education, which is not there.
Talking about something being done, you did something. Your administration came up with a program, an amnesty program that encouraged people to lay down their arms and get amnesty. This seemed to work at that time. But some people are now saying that now this could also be one reason that has caused an escalation of insecurity in the state. What is your position?
So, you see, I think there is a misunderstanding of the word amnesty. When we came in 2015, we met this issue of cattle rustling was at its highest peak. You could remember that in 2014, there was a day when over 140 people across two local governments of Sabua and Faskari, and to some extent Danduma local government, were killed as a result of cattle rustling. That's what we met on ground. It was daily affair of killing 10 here, killing 14, killing, it was all over. So when we came, when we inherited this, we said, let's look at beyond cattle rustling. These were people who were living as neighbors. And it started as farmers had a clash that it has now developed to cattle rustling. The rustlers were rustling from their fellow herders because most of the people, sedentary Fulanis, hardly have many cattle at home. So we, together with the security agencies, we will say, okay, let's engage Meta Allah. But before we did that, an opportunity came for an election of new officers in Meta Allah. So luckily enough, the person who won at that time was a civil servant. So through him, we were able to go into the forest. It was when we went into the forest with security agencies, discussing with them, then we realized that at that time, majority of them were not cattle rustlers, were not bandits.
What level of cooperation exists between the Northwest governors, and have they all shown that political will to work together to end this threat to security?
So really, most of us, some of us are working together, or some of us are not working together. That's the truth of the matter. We tried as much as possible. No matter how much you try, you cannot protect your territory when your neighbor, because the people are the same, the forest the same area, they come and go without any difference, and it is only those living within the community. So this is a border. My village is under social local government, and my village. But really, the borders are artificial. They're artificial. So I think until and unless we work together as a region. In fact, some parts of North Central, there is no way we can successfully end this issue of banditry. And we have to have a common approach so that what is obtained in Zamfara is what is obtained in Katsina, is what is obtained in Kaduna, is what is obtained in Kano, is what is obtained in Sokoto, is what is obtained in Kebbi.
Now, is it a hopeless situation for state governors because you really do not have full control over security officers in your states? And do you now advocate that the federal government should maybe devolve powers to allow state governments take control of some things, and maybe state governors will be able to do more?
During our last briefing of Mr. President with regards to issue of insecurity, I spoke on behalf of Northwest. And I think without anything that we are advocating of devolution, creating state police, amending the constitution to give states powers to create state police and empower the police, because it's not about it should go beyond community policing. Community policing helps you in gathering information. If you gather information, you need the cohesive power to implement. So I think at this point, really, since majority of the funding of security agencies at state level were being shouldered by the state, so it might as well amend the constitution and give the state powers to establish state police with all the necessary cohesive powers of enforcement.
Your Excellency, some people are also speculating in some quarters that this could have a political undertone because it happened in Mr. President's home state at a time when he was also in town on private visits.
You know, a Nigerian politician, from my experience, can do anything. It's very disappointing that some people are prepared even to govern in hell than to serve in heaven. That's what I've seen with the level of desperation. It was calculated. You don't need anybody to do it. It was calculated. The timing, the calculation was deliberate. So to some extent, you can see other hands, invisible hands.
A lot of people are also anticipating that you would also come up with a new strategy to tackling security challenges in your state.
As a government, we have already established Village Security Council. We have amended our local government law to provide for Village Security Council, which involves all the known religious leaders and all heads of trades, all trades. You know, a local barber in a local community is very, very important and influential, because wherever there is a new birth, he will be the first to be invited. They are the ones that perform local circumcision. Likewise, the imam. He is there for wedding ceremonies. He is there for naming ceremonies. He is there for burial ceremonies. and he is there for settling disputes, especially between husband and wife and between relations. If there is a motor park, the head of the motor park, he knows who goes in and who comes out. The butchers that relate on daily basis with the herders. These are the type of community leaders we are putting under the village head and form them into a village security council, so that from them there will be information to district security council, which will be a district headquarters that will have this kind of influential people as members. Then from there to the local government security council. Because we realize there is a vacuum. The vacuum is between, at the local government level, you have a structure, but down to the village level, you don't have. You don't have a structure.
Your Excellency, let's change gears quickly before we round up on from security now to politics. You talked about the desperation of politicians, and looking at your party, the All Progressives Congress, a lot of people have also seen that kind of desperation in your party ahead of 2023. Even though some people might say it's too early to start talking about 2023, but for politicians, it's never a long time. Are you worried that the desperation of politicians within your party might tear the party apart?
I think anybody who is in the political system or who is a concerned Nigerian who said he's not worried, then maybe he has not read the handwriting on the wall. Historically, if you look at the beginning of this journey in 1999, the same politicians who were in Party A are now in Party C, tomorrow they will be in Party E, and the desperation, the actors are the same. It's simply because you have changed the door coming into this room. It does not change the size of the room, and does not change the content. So the reality is politicians all across, APC is an amalgam. It was an amalgam. Like the initial formation of these parties 21 years ago was also an amalgam of associations of different interests merging into one for the purpose, some to provide good leadership, some to have an opportunity for a particular office or opportunity to get access to a certain opportunity. So to say I'm not worried, I'm more than worried. Because yes, 2023 is by the corner. But for a politician, you have to have something that we can market. But our own politics is, I have nothing to market, but let me market your failure. While I have nothing to market, so I will divert attention and concentrate on your failure. So without really assessing concretely, okay, we have seen his failure. Can we take the risk of your own failure? Because your own may be more disastrous than his. Because all along you have been telling us how bad this thing is. But you didn't tell us how good you are going to make it. And give us evidence of your character, of the history of your platform, because everybody has a history. Everybody, every amalgam those behind it have a history.
And now we are seeing regions in the country jostling to grab power. Some people are saying that we do not want zoning. Some people say no, there should be zoning, that zoning is a gentleman agreement. It should move from the north to the south. What is your own position?
My position is, you see, perception is very important in politics. I want you to imagine one thing. I will come back again and give you an example of this room. Leaving your place, you know this is the door. So all your plans that come to this room, through this door. So when you came in, you find the door has been changed. Will you not be disappointed?
Sure, I will be.
Because you see, there are certain things that we can do as a convention. There are certain things that we do in order to promote peace. There are certain sacrifices that I am expected to make, even if it is my right, if that sacrifice will bring peace. Because the peace is more than me. I am dispensable. But the peace is indispensable. But I am. I am only occupying this space. After some time, somebody will come and occupy this space. The space will be there. So people are trying to forget what we need to look at. What will bring peace to Nigeria? The issue of rotation, the issue of zonal arrangement, all these were issues that were brought in order to provide stability in the polity. They were brought up to bring stability in the polity. Are we saying now we are not ready to do things that will bring stability? I think you will do in Nigeria, not if you say, okay, this constitution is made for us, not we made for the constitution. So we should work this constitution in such a way that it will work for the majority of our country, that will bring stability to our country. So I can't understand even people talking about, I don't know. Really, I'm a confused person when it comes to that. But for me, I think leadership is about making sacrifice.
A fine place to leave it, Your Excellency. Quite an interesting conversation with the Executive Governor of Katsina State, Right Honorable Aminu Masari. And we also at TVC pray for the restoration of peace in Katsina and other troubled regions in the country. A long and illuminating chat with Governor Aminu Masari. It throws a lot of light on the politics of insecurity and the solution to the quagmire the North and indeed the nation find itself. It is ensuring a vast number of the population of youth are educated and trained in skills that will make them self-sufficient and employable. Are the interventions the federal government has introduced enough to wrought this change? What do state governments need to do to accelerate development in their domains? And is it not a little too late? How can those who have taken to banditry, kidnapping, terrorism and other forms of crime against the state be persuaded to turn a new leaf and join in developing the nation? A lot of questions left unanswered. But do join me next week when again we look at another crucial aspect of politics in our nation. My name is Femi Akonde.